Hello Scrum Masters Elite _UK, a sportsmanship analysis. I would be delighted to subscribe to and follow your channel.
Personal reflections on the HSBC SVNS World Championship title race in Bordeaux, when opportunity, resilience, and ambition share the same stage. As I followed the race for the HSBC SVNS World Championship title in Bordeaux, what impressed me most was not simply the numbers on the standings table or the complex calculations surrounding each team's championship chances. What captivated me even more was the story of sportsmanship, perseverance, and unwavering belief demonstrated by the teams throughout the season. This is not merely a competition to determine a champion, it is a vivid reflection of the core values of elite sports: hard work, resilience, and the desire to rise above challenges. Looking at the current standings, Australia and New Zealand are clearly the strongest contenders. This is no coincidence. Throughout the season, both teams have displayed remarkable consistency, maintained high performance levels, and delivered positive results time and time again. When a team remains near the top for an extended period, it reflects not only technical excellence but also the ability to stay focused, handle pressure, and adapt to changing circumstances from tournament to tournament. However, one of the most fascinating aspects of sports is that the strongest team does not always guarantee victory. Before the ball is in play and before the opening whistle blows, every possibility still exists. That is why the fact that 6 teams still have a mathematical chance of winning the title adds a special level of excitement to the final stage of the season. Among those teams, Japan is the one that makes me think the most. They are in a particularly unique situation. The gap between them and the leaders is significant, and they require many favorable outcomes to occur simultaneously in order to claim the championship. Yet the interesting thing is that they still have a chance. Even if that chance is small, it has not disappeared. This reminds me of many situations in life. Sometimes we find ourselves far away from our goals. It could be an academic objective, a career aspiration, or a personal dream. Many people choose to give up when the gap seems too large. Yet reality often shows that as long as an opportunity still exists, there is always a reason to keep trying. The final outcome may not turn out exactly as hoped, but fighting until the very end always carries its own value. I deeply admire the spirit of teams that are not considered favorites yet continue to compete with maximum determination. In professional sports, the pressure to achieve results is immense. When a team knows that its championship hopes depend on the outcomes of several other teams, maintaining motivation is not easy. Yet it is precisely under such circumstances that the true character of a team becomes most visible.
For Australia, their current position brings advantages, but also creates tremendous pressure. When you sit at the top of the standings, everyone views you as the leading contender. Every mistake can carry a heavy price. This highlights an important reality. Success brings not only joy, but also significant responsibility. I believe many people see only the glory surrounding top-ranked teams, while overlooking the pressure they must endure. To remain number one, athletes must continually push beyond their limits, maintain their form, and face opponents who have thoroughly studied their strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, regardless of whether Australia ultimately wins the title, the journey they have undertaken this season deserves great respect. On the other hand, New Zealand continues to demonstrate why they are regarded as one of the dominant forces in women's rugby. What impresses me is not only their ability to compete for championships, but also the way they respond to setbacks. Kelsey Tennety's comments reveal a valuable lesson in sports. She did not blame circumstances or seek excuses. Instead, she openly acknowledged that the opponent performed better on that particular day. At the same time, she emphasized the importance of finishing the tournament as strongly as possible. This is a mindset that I believe everyone, not just athletes, can learn from. In life, failure is unavoidable. What matters is not whether we fail, but how we respond afterward. Some people allow failure to discourage them, while others transform it into motivation for growth. Those in the second group often achieve greater long-term success. Another reason this season's title race is so compelling is that teams such as the United States, Canada, and France still play an important role in shaping the overall outcome. Even if some teams have limited championship prospects, every match can directly influence the final standings.
This reflects a familiar principle in both sports and life: the people who determine the final outcome are not always those in the spotlight. Sometimes individuals or teams that receive less attention can have a significant impact on the bigger picture. That is why no opponent should be underestimated and no opportunity should be overlooked. I also find the relegation battle and the race for top 8 positions nearly as exciting as the championship race itself. Many fans focus only on the teams at the top, but those near the bottom are fighting equally intense battles. For Brazil, South Africa, Argentina, and Great Britain, the immediate objective may not be lifting the championship trophy but securing their future in next season's competition. That is a completely different form of pressure. If the title race represents the pressure of expectation, the fight against relegation represents the pressure of survival. This is precisely what makes sports so captivating. Every team enters a competition with its own circumstances, objectives, and challenges. Yet all must compete with maximum commitment. No victory is easy, and no defeat is entirely meaningless. From this tournament, I have drawn several valuable lessons for myself. The first lesson is never to give up while opportunities still exist. Japan may be far from the championship, but they still have a reason to fight. The same applies to life. Sometimes the result has not appeared simply because we have not yet reached the final stages of the journey. The second lesson is that lasting success is built on consistency. Australia and New Zealand did not become championship contenders because of a few outstanding performances. They earned their positions through sustained excellence over a long period. This reminds me that major achievements usually come from daily persistence rather than short bursts of effort.
The third lesson is learning how to face failure positively. The reaction of the New Zealand players demonstrates that defeat is not the end. It can become a source of motivation to grow stronger if we choose to view it in the right way. For fans, I believe this tournament also delivers an important message. We should support sports with respect and sportsmanship. Supporting one team does not require diminishing another. The success of a winning team deserves recognition, but the efforts of all competitors deserve respect as well. For society, this tournament demonstrates the power of healthy competition. In a world increasingly filled with pressure and division, sports show that people can compete fiercely while still respecting one another. We can be rivals on the field while maintaining professionalism and fair play. At the end of the season, whether Australia, New Zealand, or any other team becomes champion, I believe the greatest value of the tournament extends beyond the trophy itself. What remains memorable are the stories of determination, perseverance, resilience, and the desire to surpass personal limits. These values transcend sports and can inspire anyone in everyday life. Therefore, as I watch the final stage in Bordeaux, I am not only waiting to see who will lift the championship trophy. More than anything, I hope to witness athletes giving their all in competition, because that spirit is what creates the enduring beauty of sports and leaves meaningful lessons for fans and society alike.
Goodbye from Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Always stay resilient, nurture your ambitions, and never give up as long as opportunities remain.